So, Al Jazeera did a report on the Manosphere in Kenya. Let's take a look what the report was and we'll comment and read the comments also. Before I begin, please consider liking and subscribing. Let's go.
Men. Buying gifts to simply please her is a no. Buying gifts to reward her for doing something good is a yes. Flowers are for goats. Chocolates will make her fat. Buy her a long-lasting gift. A book. No simping.
Every Saturday morning, countless men across Kenya are glued to their phones. It's a weekly ritual for them. They log in for the tweets from Eric Amunga, known by his alias, Amerix.
Truthfully, 80% of modern men are in sad marriages. They are suffering. They are enslaved. In the modern femicentric world, the man is the ultimate loser.
Using the hashtag #MasculinitySaturday, Eric Amunga, who uses a picture of American black civil rights leader Martin Luther King on X, posts to more than 2 million followers. The self-styled masculinity coach is consistently one of Kenya's top trending voices every weekend.
A nice guy is a slave. He is handcuffed by limitations. A woman will threaten a nice guy that if he doesn't do A, B, C, D, she will leave him and the nice guy will be scared.
He holds spaces on X to just spread, I have to say, misogyny. That's who Eric Amunga is. He aims to provide guidance to men. That's what he says he does. He has been criticized a lot for promoting regressive views when it comes to gender roles and relationships. He emphasizes again on traditional masculine traits. So how a man dresses, what a man does, what a man eats, how a man treats a woman, how a man speaks to a woman.
It is packaged in a way that it sounds as if this is male empowerment. A lot of these men actually are looking to hear what they've always known about masculinity because they live in a patriarchal culture, in a patriarchal society.
Okay, so I just had to pause it there, but I have to say something because for me personally, whenever I hear somebody using the terms like patriarchy or things like that, immediately my brain just shuts off because I already know they are not arguing in good faith. It's not a good faith argument. So, okay, so this person here, I guess his name is Amerix. I tried to do a little research on him, and from what I'm seeing, his stuff is just, like trying to empower men. Now, he doesn't look that extreme to me, like, the Andrew Tates and others. But from what I saw, he's just really talking to male-related issues. Now, the thing is with the internet, if you've been on the internet, you're on the internet right now, you already know that male issues, that nobody wants to hear about it. If you try to talk about it, you're gonna be blocked, you're gonna be cancelled, it's gonna be hell, it's gonna rain down on you, basically. So I can understand why anybody, whether how mild or how hard you try to tackle this topic, you're gonna get the backlash. But we need to be able to talk about male issues without automatically making it like it's against women. Not everything is about being the opposite of the other. You can talk about female issues, and it doesn't mean that you're against men. You can talk about men issues, and it doesn't mean you're against women. But for some reason, the internet believes the moment you mention male issues, you're against women. That's not how it is. Okay, let's continue. I just had to pause it because whenever I hear that patriarchy thing, my brain shuts off because I already know that person is a lost cause. He's just arguing from not good faith. let's continue with the video.
Society, and it also answers to the fact that because they feel they've been disempowered and women look like they're advancing beyond them, they find this mob psychology to go along with the messages that Amerix expresses.
Erica Munga, Amerix, isn't the only voice in Kenya's so-called Manosphere. There are numerous online influencers pushing out content for men, advising them on how to deal with professional pressures, health issues, their appearance, and especially with the women in their lives.
My wife hates when I watch you, yes, because your wife doesn't want you to stop being puny. That's why every time you watch this show and you go back to her with some energy, she's going to be like, I have to get that energy out of him.
Former radio host Andrew Kibe built a following of more than 420,000 YouTube subscribers before being banned in 2023 for violating hate speech policies. Despite the ban, Kibe continues posting on platforms like Instagram and TikTok. He also has his own website, www.mrlambistic.com, where followers can pay to listen to his live stream talks, join him on motorcycle rallies, and buy merchandise.
Okay, so now for this other guy, Andrew Kibe. Now for Andrew Kibe, I see him more as an entertainer. He basically looked at this segment and he saw an opportunity to make videos and do stuff like that, and he does it. Do I agree with everything he says? No, of course not, because from the videos that I've watched of him, basically everything is caused by women. Like if he fell to the ground, it's gonna be because of women. If anything, it's because of women. So that's really quite ridiculous concept, really. You have to be serious also with life. Let's just be logical. You cannot be saying everything wrong that happens is because of women. You even saw his shirt or something was like an emotional man is a woman. Like, it's not reality. It's not based on life. Is he funny? He does make lots of jokes from what I've seen. He's like a comedian. He can do stand-up comedy. So I think that is his biggest strength. He brings comedy to his production. But what he says, is it reality? No. For the most part, no. Because you cannot just say because somebody is this gender, everything is their fault. So that for me, thinking logically, not emotionally like you would say, thinking logically, that makes no sense. You cannot just say because it's a woman, I can't do this or I can't do. It's illogical. It's logical. So the first one, Amerix, him, I don't see much, him going against women like in a way that you can say misogynistic. With Andrew Kibe, I think he's doing comedy, but he does it with too much blaming of women, which is illogical. So he's on the borderline. He's like on the fence, right on the fence of too much blaming of women. Let's continue.
Women like adventure, they like strength, they lie and they cheat, and they need a man to take them out of that head.
The Manosphere has really grown over the last couple of years because there are so many problems that young Kenyan men are facing, and they feel like there is barely any safe space to go and talk about these issues that they're having. The Manosphere spaces particularly thrive on Twitter, which is now X, where there are these short-form messagings that many people can participate in real time.
In Kenya in particular, one could trace some of the earliest manifestations of the Manosphere to 2006.
Okay, sorry for pausing many times, but this already I'm seeing this news report is not being fair because they are not so far they have not interviewed anybody who watches this stuff. They have not interviewed anybody who's a supporter of Amerix or a supporter of the other guy, Kibe. All I'm saying is they are interviewing people who are already against those people. So, like, this person is a professor of feminism. So already that's it's a wrap. Like, it's over. You can't expect her to be objective because she's coming already from an angle of feminism. So maybe let me give her a chance. Maybe she's gonna say something that is objective, but let's see.
To the evolution of what was called Development for Men organization, an organization that set itself up to champion men's rights under the guise of arguing that it was interested in looking at questions of violence against men. But on deeper interrogation of the work, you can see the combination of a dialogue around men's rights that is set in opposition to women's rights.
See what I told you. Already, she's just proven it. Not everything is about being against the other. You can be for men, does not mean you're against women. The same way you can be protecting vulnerable people in society, for example, the elderly people, you can protect them from being scammed by scammers, does not mean when you're protecting elderly people like your grandparents or grandma, grandpa, does not mean that you're against young people. The two can work same time, but this angle of always like if somebody is for men is against women, that is ridiculous. But let's continue.
And men's problems in society as the fundamental basis of the Manosphere.
The Manosphere is not a Kenyan phenomenon. The flag bearer of online misogyny in the Anglosphere was Andrew Tate. In August 2022, he was shut down across social media as complaints about hate speech soared and charges of rape, human trafficking, and the sexual exploitation of women started racking up.
Now, this guy, Andrew Tate, clearly, he is a scammer. First of all, if you don't know anything about Andrew Tate, just know he is a scammer. He looked at this opportunity of pretending to help men, and he does these trainings in this, what was it, Romania, where he charges people ridiculous amounts. He goes there, they get beaten up, or it's just really stupid things like you pay. He takes money from people who are vulnerable, and that's the definition of a scammer. So this Andrew Tate guy, I agree, him is a scammer. He is not clean. Kibe is on the fence from what I've seen. He's not a scammer, he's more of a comedian. The other one, Amerix, I have no opinion of him. I have not seen much footprint of him. Maybe he's not as big as Kibe and these others. Or we'll see. You can let me know in the comments.
Tate's huge following online gave rise to a new genre of content. Influencers around the world who've emulated his toxic style. In India, there is Dev Tyagi.
क्योंकि अगर मेरी बंदी घर से बाहर निकली और उसने लड़कों से दोस्ती करना शुरू करा तो वो मेरी बंदी नहीं है, मैं सीधा कहूंगा घर से निकलो.
In Greece, there is Michalis Balou.
Δεν υπάρχουν γυναίκες που απορρίπτουν, υπάρχουν απλά γυναίκες οι οποίες δεν έχουν αυτό το οποίο.
In Kenya, Erica Munga, Amerix, tops the list of contributors to the Manosphere. We sent him an email request for his response to criticisms that he peddles in misogyny and hate speech against women. He didn't email his response back to us. He posted it on his favorite platform, X. There is a pattern to the factors behind the rise of the Manosphere. From New York to Nairobi, there are communities of men who have glorified outdated, traditional, or rather patriarchal systems. Then there's socioeconomic pressures. In Kenya, nearly 80% of the 56 million strong population are aged 35 or younger. The unemployment rate is at 12%. And even though it is women who make up most of the unemployed, men say they feel the social squeeze much more intensely.
There's a lot of economic pressures, so there's an expectation in the community or in the society for men to be the primary breadwinners.
I'm trying to find a job, it's really hard. My wife thinks I'm a loser.
Men are feeling like, this changing gender roles is making it possible for women to increase their economic capacity, so then making them feel inadequate.
Parallel to these kinds of groups, there are men in the Kenyan society who are doing very positive and useful work, underscoring the fact that the discourses that are pursued in the manosphere do nothing for men themselves, rather than viewing the freedoms that women have received over the last 50 or so years as an opportunity to transform our society for the good of everyone. The discourses pursued in the manosphere actually contribute to the violence that we see that is targeted specifically as women.
Gender-based violence, femicide in Kenya, has made global news recently. In September this year, Olympian marathon runner Rebecca Cheptegei was set on fire by her partner during a dispute over land. 2 other Olympic runners have been murdered in years past, stabbed and strangled to death.
Okay, they're just going too far now. It's going too far. Like, this is now getting crazy. Like, I am looking at this documentary, this news, whatever you want to call it, and already they're only interviewing people who are against. It was the woman who's against, I don't know what her job is, I already forgot. Then there's the professor of feminism. And then there's the other guy who is also like pro-women. And I don't understand this concept. Like, can the brain not function fully? Like, you can be for men issues and at the same time does not mean that you're against women. Like, how hard is that concept to understand? Like, am I talking to myself here? Well, actually, I'm talking to myself in the video, but you get my point. I don't know why it is this bad faith argument throughout in this. Now these people who are murdered, clearly it's a terrible thing that happened to them, these women. They are trying to put that in the video so that whoever is watching associates the two, like Manosphere stuff with the death of these women, which is not really the case. How is somebody telling, I don't know, men like you need to work out, stop watching, those dirty videos and stuff to change your life? How is that leading to, these innocent victims? It's ridiculous. It is. You can already see the angle. You don't need, even Stevie Wonder can see what is happening here. From the beginning of this program or whatever, they were trying to directly create an angle to lead you to the end where they show you these people in a funeral to try to lead you, not to make your own opinion, but they're leading you to an opinion. And that's not how a good news thing should be. So I think there's only like 1 minute left. I'm sure it's going to be more of that. And I don't even know if I should finish it because I'm already getting angry about it. I don't like when news organizations are using these bad angles. This is bad faith reporting. It's very bad. Let's just go to the comments. I don't even want to finish the video because they're gonna just make things very, very bad in the angle. So let's go to the comments. The comment says, as a woman, this is such a misinterpreted documentary. Oh, you see, even a woman in the comments agrees this is just not good documentary. Amerix teaches men how to groom themselves, acquire new skills, be fit, buy land, be a good father, and be responsible. Yeah, so you see, I already saw that I was telling you in the beginning, this is so one-sided. And then there's why is so much backlash against Americ's. Americ's teaching saved me from drug addiction, and no one is opposing women's rights. Yeah, that's what I'm saying basically. So when men are advised to be better versions of themselves, it's called misogyny nonsense. That's the truth. That's what people are saying. You cannot censor everybody when these things have to be faced head on. You cannot hide men issues forever. You cannot hide men issues forever. So make men great again. I know it might make some women uncomfortable if you hear men talking about their issues, but surprise, surprise, men are also human beings. They are human beings. They breathe, they get sick, they have issues just like any other human being. They should be allowed to talk about it. Does not mean they are against you. I don't know how hard of a concept that is for some people. So that's all I can say. So this Al Jazeera thing was very one-sided. It's common, like you all looked for a gay person to answer things. I don't know. I guess they're talking about the man who was interviewed. But anyway, this documentary was no good. It was one-sided. It is not fair. It is not right. Al Jazeera, you should be ashamed and you should do better. That's my verdict for this. Please consider liking and subscribing, and I will see you on the next one. And also please share on all the networks. See ya.
Oh my goodness, all the networks! Wow! All the networks!